The Army Painter is my favorite hobby company in the entire world. My desk is literally full of Army Painter products, and it takes me from being an average painter to putting above tabletop standard models out into the tournament scene. Not only that, but the Army Painter has sponsored more competitive play than any other hobby company in the industry. They allow us to keep doing the things that we do. If you enjoy the Army Painter as much as I do, head over to thearmypainter.com where you can use the discount code ARTOFWAR5 to get a discount on your next order.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another super exciting Art of War live stream.
We're here to talk.
We are here to talk. You know why? Because it's a Thursday.
That's what we
And
do.
you know what else it is? It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's Christmas?
You know what? There is one thing better than Christmas.
What's that?
WTC.
Oh, yeah, that is, isn't it?
It's my favorite time of the year. Do I spend 10 months of the year dreading it? Absolutely, yes. But this last month, Nick, we're almost there. Nick and I are getting ready for the World Team Championships of Warhammer 40K, and so we are here to discuss a lot of the lists that have been submitted for the event.
That's right. List submission was this past Sunday. All the different countries and all the different teams have been a little bit cards close to chest in terms of what they're running, trying to not give up any advantages. But now all the lists are live. They're on Best Coast pairings, and we can access them. And there's quite a few interesting ones, and we're going to talk about them.
Absolutely. If you like this video, if you like this kind of content, make sure you like the video, like the content. If you share with your friends, leave a comment. Let us know which of the lists we're talking about is your favorite, or which ones you think we're missing on, or let us know what country you think is going to win. All of that in the comment section, as well as subscribe to the channel. That way you'll get notified every time we go live.
That's right. Like, comment, subscribe. It all helps the algorithm. And if you want more content that helps you learn the game, become your best, like coaching matches, Jack Theory, strategy sessions, mission breakdowns, check out The War Room. We have a 3-day free trial going on right now in the description below, thewarroom.vhx.tv. Click that link, gets you to a 3-day free trial. Then you can try out our content, and I'm sure you're going to love it.
Absolutely. So if you perhaps are not aware of what the WTC is, the World Team Championships, this is a very large team event where each country sends a Warhammer team. So this isn't going to be Art of War versus Stat Check versus Vanguard Tactics. No. This is going to be Team USA versus Team England versus Team Poland versus Team China. Teams from all around the world. We actually have 42 teams of 8 players. Each country is trying to send their best because everyone wants the coveted gold. This is probably the most competitive Warhammer event I've ever been to, 3 times in a row. And I'm so excited for my 4th year attending.
This is like my 10th year attending. I am old. I am an old soul. But we're here. We're back. We're addicted. And we're going to play some more Warhammer.
Absolutely. So if you have any super chats during this stream, please do it. We'll answer them all at the end. But for now, Nick and I are going to kind of pick and choose a couple of our favorite lists from the event.
Who are we picking and choosing first, John?
All right. You know what? Let's start off with maybe the newest codex that's going to be allowed at this event.
What's that?
That's going to be Space Wolves.
Space Wolves. Did you know, fun fact, Space Wolves are the most popular variation of Space Marines at this tournament?
They are, which, you know what? I'm a little bit surprised by.
Yeah.
Now, I shouldn't be because we also took Space Wolves.
Space Wolves is pretty good.
Space Wolves are pretty good. Like, I shouldn't act surprised that other people also thought Space Wolves were a good chapter to take when we thought Space Wolves were a good chapter to take. We always hope that you're going to be the snowflake in the room.
There's just a lot of good Space Marine armies right now. So, Ultramarine Gladius, everyone's talking about that. Blood Angels got points reductions. It's kind of surprising to see such domination of one chapter, even no matter which chapter it is. But Space Wolves, we're here.
Space Wolves are here. So of the Tier 1 nations, which is the top 10 ranked countries based on previous year's performance, 9 of the top 10 took Space Marines. 6 of those Space Marines were Space Wolves. So we're going to start off by talking about this list here, which is being played by Jesper from Team Sweden. Team Sweden is a really good team. They're looking at a podium. Last year, they finished just short. They finished in 4th place, a spot ahead of Team USA. And I know that they're hungry. They've got some really solid players there, so they're a good team to watch this year. Let's go ahead and talk about Jesper's Saga of the Beast Slayer.
Yeah, what's Jesper got here?
Jesper has Arjak Rockfist, my favorite Space Wolf character. He's just a beater. He's a guy in Terminator armor carrying a hammer, and if you are important, he's going to hit you with a hammer.
That's true.
That's it.
So hard.
He does. He has some rerolls built in against characters, vehicles, monsters. He's quite solid. Bjorn the Fell-Handed, a wonderful character dreadnought who gives command points to the army. 2 Iron Priests. WTC's rules and list cutoff was actually before the recent FAQ to Iron Priest, so you are going to see them quite often. A Lieutenant with a Combi Weapon, Logan Grimnar for Vectora, Ragnar Blackmane, and then 20 Blood Claws.
Ooh.
5 Intercessors, 2 Predator Annihilators, a Scout Squad, 2 squads of 3 Thunderwolf Cavalry, 3 Wolfguard Head Takers, then 10 Wolfguard Terminator. So that was a lot. Let me kind of tell you how this all works.
Okay.
So this detachment gives the army lethal hits against vehicles and monsters, aka the things that you need lethal hits against. You don't get them against 5-man Ranger squads, so these massive Space Marine units are just gonna have to figure out a way to kill them anyways.
Yep.
But lethal hits against the stuff that matters, and then once you kill the stuff that matters, you get it against the army. And there's even more damage output kind of buffs in here. There's a stratagem to get +1 to wound. There's a stratagem to blood surge. I think there might even be a reactive move on Thundercat.
I think there is.
There's some good tech in here. But what this list is it's a 10-man Wolfguard Terminator squad with Arjak. And the Logan kind of acts like a solo guy. He's just like a solo Vector guy.
Yeah, just a
he
good
lets
character.
you deep strike the Terminator squad turn 1. So if you go first, you can just slam that down behind a wall in your opponent's expansion objective and just say, yeah, you can push towards this anytime you want.
Nice.
That's scary. 2 Predator Annihilators that are going to be rapid fire 1 on the last cannon. So that's 2 Predators that are going to do the work of 4 Predators.
Yeah.
And then just a good amount of like trash Space Marine melee, like 2x3 Thunderwolf Cavalry, a 3-man Wolfguard Head Takers to be infantry that go through walls, and then a big 20-man Bloodclaw unit that advances in charge because of Ragnar. And wait a minute, they already have advance in charge, it rerolls wins.
So this is a really interesting Space Wolf army for a few reasons. I have not really been playtesting much against the 10-man Wolfguard and the 20-man Bloodclaws. That's not a very popular build here in the States, but it seems like a very popular build at the WTC. Now, there's a few factors for that, of course. The terrain is totally different, and in teams, you have different rules for your armies. But I'm really curious to see, John, like, what are your thoughts as a Space Marine guru here on the 10-man Terminators and the 20-man Bloodclaws? What is that?
Oh, man. So my thought as a Space Marine player, I don't think matters, because as far as I'm concerned, Space Wolves aren't a Space Marine army. They're a Cult Legion. That's my insistence. They're totally different from normal Space Marines. Oath of the Moment is the only thing we have in common, and they only get half of it. But this list... really good. I love the 10-man Wolfguard Terminator with, we only took 5-mans, but the 10-man, which I assume is going to have Arjak attached, maybe Jesper's thinking something I'm not, is really good for just, like, applying pressure. This list could go second. We're playing chapter approved, you get challenger cards, bottom of turn scoring, and be totally fine.
Yeah.
But if you go first, you can just stage up a bunch of melee behind walls in the one place that you normally struggle to reach with a relatively slow Space Wolf army.
Like normal speed.
It's like a normal speed army, but since you don't have advance in charge of the entire army, that is slower than some Space Wolf armies can be. And then you just put this 10-man Terminator brick that has access to a reactive move. It has a 4-up fight on death. It has access to +1 to wound. It has lethal hits. Arjak does, his thing and hits people with hammers. This 10-man squad of 4 wound, -1 to wound idiots just like drops, and you have to deal with it.
And it can turn 1 deep strike, right?
It can turn top of 1, this deep strikes on your expansion objective behind a wall.
Yeah, then you have to just kill these 4 wound Terminators and this guy. It's super annoying, very hard to deal with. A lot of armies can't deal with that top of 1.
Yeah, honestly, like a lot of people just don't want to do that. They're just like, oh, well, I'm just not going to take this away, because if you tried to break the anvil, you're going to walk right into the hammer.
Now, talk to me about the 20 Bloodclaws. Like, what do you think the usage of this unit is going to be?
I think that this unit is really good because it's a little bit faster than the rest of it. It has advance in charge. It also hits very hard. It's just 20 Space Marines with reroll wounds and lethal hits. And of course, you can get reroll hits by being a Space Marine.
Yeah.
I think the plan here is that this is going to be the front line that is just getting up behind the most convenient terrain feature. Like the closest staging area, that's where this goes.
Yeah.
And the 10-man Wolfguard Terminator goes to the furthest staging area because it gets the deep strike turn 1. And it's a lot lower risk than normal because you don't have to deploy on the line to get there. But I think this is just running into the closest staging area, and it's just saying, hey, I'm going to control about 70% of the table. And you can either sit in your 30% for the entire game, and I'll just win like 15-5. Right? Well, just no big deal. If you just want to park in 15-5, I'll like push on turn like 4, and I'll see if I can get that 15 to a 16. And that'll be cool. But if you try to fight back at all, I'm going to try to hit you with the entire Space Wolf army at once, because I'm not fast enough to run over to you and get you. But I get to the important spots, and then if you get closer, I do hit you with the whole army.
This list is a great quintessential Space Marine pressure army, and those are really great in teams because they push differential super well. As you just said, you can coast your way to like a very consistent 13 to 15 point score, and if your opponent tries to not lose by like 5 to 7, they're going to get active, make the game start happening, and then you apply the Space Wolf hammer and end it.
Yeah, it's really, really strong. This is a very good take on it. I love some of the tech pieces that Jesper's put in. I would not at all be surprised to see this kind of list become one of the more popular archetypes after WTC.
Right.
I do think that this list will survive the change to the Iron Priests, by the way.
It's also very popular amongst other teams that are super strong. I know France Olivier's Weiss has also brought a very similar Space Wolf army. I think there's a bit of a detachment variation amongst the Space Wolf army. Some are Gladius, some are Beast Slayer, some are Stormlance, but the data sheets are largely the same. It's you got your 10-man Wolf Guard, you got your 20-man Bloodclaw, and then you got support.
Yeah, and each detachment kind of does that differently. We've seen quite a few of the Saga of the Beast Slayer, actually. I'm willing to bet with the lethal hits against big things that part of that is a plan for Imperial Knights.
Yeah, I mean, we're not featuring Chaos Knight and Imperial Knight lists today because they're kind of obvious and all over the place, but they are all over the place, and they are going to be definitely a factor in the team composition built here.
Yeah, and Jesper did indeed have not the only Space Wolf list, there were many to cover, so if we didn't cover your Space Wolf list, it was probably pretty cool too.
Like, there's like 500 listed up.
I know.
We're covering 7.
Real quick, I said super chats at the end, but you know what? Heroes of the Imperium like John McArdell, they get to jump the queue.
John McCardell hype! Everybody say thank you to John McCardell because he just gifted 20 memberships to the War Room.
Thank you. A true hero of Fenris right there. John, we so much appreciate your support. Happy to have you in the chat.
All right, what's next, John?
All right, let's see who's next. You know what? For the next one, let's go ahead and grab something old that's new again.
Old but new again. What does that
New
mean?
again. Well, that means that we're going to be talking about the Leagues of Votann.
Right, Tim Schneider from Germany, perhaps the OG pilot, the originator of the classical Votann army.
Yeah.
It's so vanilla, it's so basic, and yet it's so popular and so strong. How does it do it?
Can you really say that someone is running a net list if they wrote the net list?
That's true.
Like, you know what? Like, this is net list Votann. This is the good Votann build. But you know what? Tim wrote it.
Yeah.
So I really can't throw shade at him for it.
Yeah, I mean, we could have thrown a dart at a different country and got the same army list, but we picked Tim's because Tim did write this, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and so Tim gets all the credit on this one. So let's go ahead and talk about what is in this Leagues of Votann Hearthband list. We start off with a Brokir Ironmaster with a Praising Glare. This is actually the only character on the list. Then we have 10 Hearthkin Warriors. They're going to end up being split into 2 5-mans. 3 Sagittars. Now, there's only 3 units, I think, that can go in the Sagittars, which is the 2 Hearthkin Warrior squads and the Brokir Ironmaster. So that's starting on the table inside the transports. 2 units of 3 Brokir Thunderkins with Graviton cannons. This is definitely a bit of new tech. This isn't what was always in the list. But you know what? Knights weren't always on every table.
You know, yeah, I've not seen these, but they make sense against Knights.
Yeah, makes perfect sense there. 2 squads of 10 Chthonian Berserks. These are awesome, big 10-man hammer squads that need a 10-man transport, which is going to be those Hecaton land fortresses driving them around. 2 squads of 6 Hernkin Pioneers, and then 10 Hernkin Jaegers, which are nice infiltrating dwarves that are going to be able to allow those Hernkin Pioneers and these Sagittars to be able to get their scout moves off freely.
So conceptually, this list is just like good at Warhammer. It is very tough. Land forts with armor contempt behind cover are really hard to kill. The bikes have a bunch of wounds. Berserks have feel no pain. It's got a lot of skirmish between those Sagittars plus all the squads amongst the Sagittars and now the 3 Thunderkin. It's got infiltrating Jaegers to buy some space early, and the bikes go up and down and shoot ridiculously hard with judgment tokens and sustain too, so you have to just be respectful the entire time of the angles they can start getting on you between moving 12, scouting, or just up and downing across the table.
Absolutely. This list is capable of being played quite aggressively with that scout move. So it has it feels like it has a very safe floor. It has good tough units to play the center objectives.
Yeah.
But if it goes first or it's given time to get forward and stage and push, it can create quite a high differential because it has very good damage output, especially into more elite armies where those judgment tokens are going to pay off more. And I gotta say, there's an influx of elite armies in the game right now.
There's also a whole tempo shift you have to consider when playing against this. Because they have the scouting bike potential, you have to deploy relatively conservatively or risk just getting killed turn 1. And if you deploy super conservatively and you cede a lot of board control to the Votann early, it can be really hard to dislodge them because of all those durable profiles just in midfield, and you're so far back. So then you end up falling into a points hole and losing a much slower pace game, but they're happy to play either.
Yeah, they really are, unfortunately. And of course, if you try to use your infiltrators to block them, you're just giving them things to judgment token and kill to get +3
all the
command
CP,
points on turn 1. It's a whole mess. So with this list, it's super dangerous, and it's being run by the OG pilot here. We have seen Votann become a very popular teams army at WTC. A lot of people are taking it. I really do think that those 2 Thunderkin squads are there to smooth out the night matchup. I mentioned that this list can be played aggressively. What my understanding is that Votan is tough and fast enough to kind of go on the line and push and pressure a lot of people and say, you can hit me back, but if you do, I'm going to be hitting you back, and I'm pretty tough, so this will probably be okay.
Yeah.
Now, Knights are admittedly one of those few armies where the answer might be enough. Where it might be, oh, you think you're tough enough? I do hit hard enough, and they could punch through. Knights are a little volatile. My guess is that the Thunderkin are just there to make that a little bit more favorable and to kind of, honestly, maybe even deter the Knight player from accepting it, from wanting to try to answer the challenge, to let Tim face easier prey. My guess is going to be that Tim is going to say in a podcast that the Knight matchup is actually quite difficult, and it's volatile, and it's a thing to be taken very carefully, and he's going to play Knights twice at the event, and he's going to score more than 35 points.
Probably.
Yeah, that's my prediction. He's going to say that it's actually really hard, and then he's going to go smash it.
This army is very present amongst many teams of the WTC, and I think it's going to do well for most of them, but I think it's going to do exceptionally well for Tim on Germany.
Yep. I would bet money on him being the top scoring Votan player at the event.
We're going to find out.
We will find out.
All right. We got Skari in the chat. Maybe next up we have a little Drukari action for our man, the myth, the legend.
Let's get a little Drukari action. Let's see.
I got John clicking the buttons.
I do. We're going out of
this is the live.
We're going out of order.
I'm sorry. I just got excited when I saw
had
Skari.
demons queued up and I got confused.
Oh, it's okay.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about some Drukari, right? Now, Skari says that there's no threat here, but you know what? I don't believe him.
Skari is a master of deception.
He is indeed. He's a master of going under the radar, of raiding in the void.
I don't know if he's under the radar. I feel like he's on everybody's radar. He's still getting Drukari nerfed somehow, and it doesn't matter.
I think one more nerf will probably be enough.
We'll see.
I think so.
At that point, they'll get their codex, maybe.
Well, hopefully that's the nerf.
That's it. All right, so let's see what Skari's playing today. He's got the Reaper's Wager detachment, but interestingly enough, 0 Harlequins.
0 Harlequins. I'd actually have to check. I'm not sure if there was an Eldar slot taken up for...
I think there is.
All right, so this way you get the Reaper's Wager detachment, you don't take any Harlequins, and then someone else gets to take Eldar.
Yes.
Perfect. So for this list, we have an Archon with Arch Raider, 2 Beastmasters, so the big beast packs, Drazar, Lilith, Urian Rakarth, just a litany of named characters here, 10 Cabalites, 5 Racks, 10 Witches, 1 of each battle line, very cool, 3 Venoms, a Kronos, 10 Hellions, 5 Incubi, 2x5 Mandrakes, 5 Ravagers, 1 Ravager, not 5.
1 Ravager.
5 would be very scary. 3 Reapers, 5 Scourges, 5 Scourges, 5 Scourges, and it looks like 10 of those Scourges are Haywire Scourges, and 5 of them are Darkland Scourges.
This is a very Archon Skari list here, and we also have seen a very similar list on Team Germany, which is interesting because this is the type of army that really requires a faction specialist to do well with. Yeah. It's got a lot of one-of tech pieces. It's got a lot of moving parts. It has a lot of damage if you can apply it in the right places, like Scourge's reoccurring Haywire into the Knight meta, very strong. We've got 4 Dark Lances on one, along with the Ravager's Dark Lances to try to poke some harder targets. The Beastmasters have a jail element that can go first and really lay the pressure on you. And there are so many units, especially when you consider those Warriors and those Witches combat squad amongst those Venoms. So Skari can play the MSU trade game, he can play the objectives thievery and points race game, or if you try to disrespect him to get ahead of all the MSU units with damage, he can lay the pound town upon you.
Yeah, my guess here is that this is another one of those lists that gets to adopt a different game plan based on first turn.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like a very risky plan. But one of the really nice things is that because this is teams format, Skari can very quickly tell his team the tempo of the game. He can say, yeah, I went second, but I'm playing an MSU army, and I'm in a good position to deny them primary. I've got bottom of turn. I might sneak a challenger card or 2 and then win anyways, because obviously that's how challenger cards work. Or he can say, yeah, I went first. I sacrificed 240 points of beast pack. My opponent can't leave their deployment zone, and I'm now behind walls 6 inches from their deployment zone.
Yeah. You can lose this army by going second and getting trapped forever. You can lose this army by going first and getting tabled. You can really... There's a lot of different play patterns here, and it's so adjustable, not only on first or second turn, but also based on the mission or the opponent's army archetype and the terrain. It's very dynamic, not only in rules and unit types, but like the profiles. Venoms are very tiny. The infantry are all very tiny. They can hide kind of all over the place.
Absolutely. And this is one of those armies, because it's so finessey, there's so many moving parts, it does have to be run by a faction specialist. We chose, the Canadian list because, well, we'd already picked a lot of German lists.
Spread the love.
And we did want to spread the love a little bit, but also because Skari is one of those faction specialists. He's one of those players that can actually make a list like this sing. where I don't think this would be easy to pick up. And I expect that a lot of teams that didn't take Drukhari didn't have that guy to do it.
We didn't have that guy.
We didn't have that guy. But if someone did take this kind of a list, watch out. Yeah. They are probably better than the Drukhari players you've been practicing with. They're one of the Skaris.
This is one of the armies where if you see it in a singles tournament, you're like, okay, random Drukhari player, this is going to be fine. And if you see it at WTC, you're like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
What am I not seeing here?
That is exactly the reaction. So, of course, very, very cool list from Skari here. I think Skari is actually at the GW Tacoma right now, or maybe he's traveling to do so. So, Skari, best of luck to you there. We're really excited to see how you do. All right, so for this next list, you know what? Let's should we go maybe back?
Let's go
to
back.
Germany?
You can. I won't impact the order any further. I'm excited by the Drukhari.
No problem. I get it. It's very exciting to have the Archon in the chat with us. So let's go ahead and hop back to Germany and let's talk about Niklaus's Shadow Legion list.
I need to harp on this for a second.
Okay.
I love this army. I love Niklaus. I got the chance to play him last year at the World Championships of Warhammer in a singles tournament. We had a great game. He was still running demons, and he's still running demons. He's a demon.
I'm pretty sure he ran demons at WTC last year.
Yeah, this dude doesn't stop.
I believe he is taking them on an edition long farewell tour.
So we've got they're not going anywhere. Get out of here with that. No one demon slander will be tolerated in this stream house. So he's got Be'lakor and the Fade Thirster, a classic combo in Shadow Legion. Then we've got 3 Nurglings, 5 Seekers, a solo Beast of Nurgle, 3x6 Screamers, and then for his Chaos Space Marine contingent, he's got a Dark Commune with Leaping Shadows to let it scout.
Ooh.
10 Cultists for the backfield, the full Accursed Cultist brick to join the Dark Commune, and then 3x5 Raptors. Okay, so Niklaus, much like Skari, much like Tim Schneider, is another one of those faction experts who has created his own version of a list and is piloting it the way he wants to pilot it. And I think that's super cool because no one, and I mean actually no one to my knowledge, is running Raptors at all ever.
Yeah.
And, 18 Screamers. I love Screamers. The Dark Commune, the Accursed Cultist, it's great. This army tries to jail you. We've got 18 Screamers with -1 to hit, 3 wounds, 4 pinful. Move 14, beast through walls, and they do fly over mortals. The Raptors do charge battle shocks, which can then do mortals. Everything flies. There's a lot of fly in this army. And with the Accursed Cultist Dark Commune package, scouting, then advancing and charging, they can endlessly jail you. Also, those Seekers scout 9, then move 14. Those long bases make it beautiful for the jail style.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a Bloodthirster and there's a Fade Thirster and Be'lakor just happening in the background.
Yeah, it's kind of trying to just hold you back while it just stabs you in the gut with a Bloodthirster every turn and then leaves. And you never really get to impact that. Be'lakor, my understanding is that he kind of floats back a little bit, being the you can't really get within 18 inches of me with anything that matters, and I'll be around for the late game.
Yeah, he just shoots his gun and some trash squad, giving a lone upward or whatever, making sure the Bloodthirster's safe when he ingresses, and then maybe turn 4, there's going to be a Bloodthirster and a Be'lakor slam jamming you.
Yep, after you've already been nibble bombed by the Screamers, and you might have lost something to the Accursed Cultist brick.
Yeah, there's
just a mess.
This is also similar to Votann in the sense that it has a huge difference in tempo, whether it's going first or second. If it goes first, those Seekers can scout 9, then conga line your army and just jail you, or it can send the Accursed Cultists who scout as well. And then going second, it can get into a trade war no problem by sending some Raptors out, sending the Fade Thirster to kill a small thing, going back in reserves and playing on the bottom of turn.
And again, I just want to emphasize how much more I like that as a playstyle in teams and singles. I love that if I'm going first, I can tell the team immediately. If I'm going second, I can tell the team immediately. And so if we have, let's say Germany has multiple players like that. If they have the Votann and this in somewhat similar positions, they can then tell the other 6 players in the team, hey, we've got, Tim and Niklaus are setting up big wins right now. Or Tim and Niklaus are trending for smaller wins. And you can kind of relay that strategy to the coaches, and then they can decide what to do with it.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff here from Germany. I think they're really leaning into my players are faction experts on whatever faction it is. Let them cook. Yeah, I think that's a great way to run a team.
I completely agree. All right, so we've got a couple more to talk about here. Let's go to one of my armies.
Oh boy,
can we go to one of my armies?
We can go to one of yours.
All right, and for that we're gonna have to go all the way to France.
Oh.
We really wanted to leave France off because I didn't think any of their lists were very good. But Nick did remind me they are the defending champs of the World Team Championships. And so it's probably important to give them a shout.
Yeah, just out of respect.
I don't want to say it's respect. I'm kidding. Of course, Team France and Olivier, their captain, knows how much I respect and love them and how much I'm looking forward to a long-awaited rematch from last year's finals, where France won the WTC and we didn't.
Okay, but I don't really want to try. This is you, John.
All right. Let's talk about this Astra Militarum list. So this Astra Militarum list is Recon Element, which is the detachment that is, I would say, not seen very often. It's better than Siege Regiment, and that's what most people say about it. But Recon Element is all infantry based. So this is the one where you basically, your infantry just kind of get the benefits of cover.
Yeah.
And then if they are already receiving the benefits of cover, they get +1 to their saving throw. So you take, let's just talk about a guardsman.
Yeah.
You're paying, I don't know, like six or 7 points a model for a T3 guy with a 5-up save.
Yep.
Okay. Everyone knows what a guardsman is. You give him an order, let's say take cover.
Yeah.
He now has a 4-up save.
Just 4-up base.
4-up armor save base. And he's infantry. Not that hard to get the benefits of cover.
And you can take cover for the order and benefit from actual cover.
Yep, totally separate. Annoying name, but totally separate. Now, if you're in Recon Element, this 4-up save gentleman who has cover actually gets a 3-up save because he's +1 save when he has the benefits of cover. So then he has a 3-up save and the benefits of cover.
So let me get this straight. You give him the take cover order, which is a 4-up. Then he's benefiting from cover for standing in a ruin, so it's 3-up. And then because he's double benefiting from cover, it's 2-up?
It's essentially a 2-up. It still only passes on a 3.
Okay.
But it's a 3-up save that then has cover. So if you shoot an AP1 weapon at him, he still gets a 3-up save.
AP1 gives the guardsman a 3-up save?
Gives a 3-up save. Now, you could also shoot a las cannon at a guardsman. You know, a little inefficient, but we all know that once you roll the wound roll, you pick the guardsman off the table. The guardsman would get a 5-up save against that.
Guardsmen just get 5-up saves from Laskins? And how many are there? 10, 20?
Let's talk about the list, shall we? 150.
Oh.
So we've got Gaunt's Ghost, 3 Cadian Castellans. I actually love this. The Cadian Castellans give sustained hits and critically fall back and shoot.
Oh, that's
Then
huge.
we have 3 Cadian Command Squads, a Rogel Dorn Commander, 3x20 Cadian Shock Troops, 20 Catachan, 10 Catachan, 20 Death Corps, 10 Death Corps, 5 Ratlings, and an Rogel Dorn Battle Tank. So, all right. I understand this list, and it's pretty cool. Let me break it down for you.
Okay.
2 Rogel Dorns. One of them is a commander, one of them is not, but the commander issues 2 orders. There are only 2 vehicles, so as long as they're within 12 inches of each other, they're both +6 skill 3. One of them will have some rerolls, one will have a blanket save, but 2 Dorns behind the army. There are no buffs on this. These are just 2 Dorns firing the data sheet of a Dorn at you, but that's honestly still a pretty good place to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a Dorn. Then you have the 3 Cadian Blobs. That's 3 26-strong units that are going to receive the benefits of cover while they're on an objective. Right. Sticky objectives, and those 26 models are OC2 or 3 each. The 20 Cadians are OC3 because there's a banner in the command squad. You can order them to OC4. So if the unit is alive, it controls the objective. You cannot battle shock it out of this because it'll still be OC1. And also it's Sticky's objectives because the banner is a +1 OC that doesn't hinge off of not being battle shocked. And if it's not battle shocked, up to OC4 on the Cadian shock troops themselves.
So let me just try to wrap my head around this. This army is like 150 dudes that are uber hard to kill for what they are.
Yes.
And then they move fast because like, or you can just move 9 if you want and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then they fall back, shoot, and charge, or fall back, shoot.
Fall back, shoot.
Not fall back, charge. Okay, that's something. But then they sticky objectives and they don't fail battle shocks really, and then they just hold objectives. Is this army like, do you think, trying to always get 10s or like even push beyond that?
I think it is trying to always get 10s. Honestly, I think it's trying to always get like 8s or 9s. But then it has a legitimate upside of, by the way, if you fail the stat check,
Yeah.
the primary is going to just be like 50 to 20.
Yeah, like you're going to get your whole field and I will get everything else always.
Yeah, which is honestly pretty cool. But I love the Cadian squads here, and I love the Cadian Castellans. I think that's like actually mandatory to making this list work.
I think it's really cool.
Because again, it's fall back and shoot and sustained hits.
And I love the 2 Dorns. I think having like something that requires your opponent to stand behind a wall and actually respect your Astra Militarum infantry horde is like critical because it can't. If I'm just teeing off damage onto guardsmen, I don't care how tough they are. Eventually, they're all going to go down. But if I'm hiding behind walls for my own safety because there's Dorns, I'm not teeing off on all the guardsmen.
Alas.
Alas.
But yeah, you get 9 infantry orders out of the Cadian Castellans and Cadian Command Squads that are all going to be at 24 inches. You have plenty of orders for all of the units here. Then you have Gaunt's Ghosts who go up and down, and they get to reassign orders at the end of the movement phase. So let me just lay out one more trick for you. There's more than one trick left. There's also like a react move in this, but one of the favorite tricks of this attachment is that you can order an infantry squad to move in the command phase. And then in the movement phase, you move. Your movement characteristic is currently 9, and you go do the movement. Then you land Gaunt's Ghost at the end of the movement phase. And at the end of the movement phase, Gaunt's Ghost can issue orders because he just arrived from reserves. So he can order something like a squad that has already moved. They lose move.
Oh, man.
But they've already moved.
No. And then they get take cover.
Then they get take cover or take aim or whatever they particularly need. And Gaunt's Ghost can reassign that twice.
See, where you view that as a cool trick to cycle your orders, I just assume guard just do that in all forms.
You know what? You do have to put in an amount of work to get that done, but this list is capable of doing it. So this is Nicolas from France. I'm very excited to see how this list goes. This is an archetype of guard that has existed but has not been tremendously popular. We'll see if France and their love of hordes is going to be able to popularize it. Now, I will mention, there are non-zero weaknesses to this list.
Chess clocks.
I assume that Nicholas has practiced this extensively and is ready to play this list in time, but you do still have to make him do it.
You do have 4 rounds at WTC, which really helps with giving you that freedom to play a list like that. But also, let me tell you, the games are a lot harder. You do have to think a lot more, and as much as you get that extra time, you find a way to use that extra time.
Indeed. Also, I'll mention it now, all of those benefits of like the save stacking, 5-up save against AP3, that all involves the benefits of cover.
Yeah.
So combat, not only do you not have the benefits of the cover, you don't have +1 save for having the benefits of cover. So combat AP3 gives you no save, even with take cover, whereas you'd get a 5-up save against it in shooting.
Yeah.
As well, if you find a way to ignore cover, if you bring the noise, for example, not only does ignore's cover take away 1 pip of save, but then you aren't receiving the benefits of cover, so you lose a 2nd pip of save.
Right.
So an AP2 Blastmaster gives a take cover guardsman a 6-up save, where an AP2 do Dark Reapers ignore? Pick an elf that doesn't ignore cover. Whereas AP2 that gives them a 4-up save.
Yes.
So if you have ignores cover volume, if you have melee volume, you can get there. Now there are tricks to make sure that doesn't happen. I think that 20-man Katachan is there to stretch in front of the army, scout move and move block, and just be I went first jail. Now you can only kill 1 squad in combat. And it has a reactive move. I know. And it has a reactive move. And, there's a couple random, Splash Mortal abilities in the army. There's some cool things. So very cool, innovative list. I'm very excited to see how this one actually pans out.
Me too. Not so excited to play against it, but, that's someone else's problem.
Indeed, it may be. All right, so I think we had one more list that we wanted to talk about today.
Wonder what it'll be. I think we have 2 more.
2 more?
Oh, unless I didn't. Oh, okay. We have 1 more.
One more. Here we go. So that 1 more is going to be Liam VSL's Eldari Aspect Host. Nick, this one's on you. Take it away.
Okay, so this one, super interesting, because as we go through the data sheets, you'll see we have Fugan, Janezar, Lycus. That's a classic trio. 3 Instant Corsairs. I'm sad that the world has caught on to my Corsair loveliness, but they are that good. They are so good for MSU scoring and annoying your opponent. And we have 10 Storm Guardians to the backfield, 2x5 Dark Reapers, 10 Fire Dragons, which will hang out in a Wave Serpent, 5 Banshees for Janezar to join, 5 Rangers. Everything is normal up until this point. And then we get to 30 Swooping Hawks, which is like, okay, what is going on? Why is everyone flying around? But let me tell you, these Hawks do a lot. They all get reroll ones to hit because, of course, they're an Aspect Warrior, or reroll ones to wound. They have lethal hits baked into their data sheet, and they fire 4 shots a model. So each of these units is going to fire 120 shots total, 40 shots each, and lethal hits. So 20 of those are automatically wounding your knight-sized target or whatever, and then you're going to end up with 60 also to wound rolls before you even factor in the reroll ones to hit. But it gets better, because if Lycus shoots you with her little spider gun, then the army, the Eldar army, gets critical hit 5s, which triggers on these 120 sustained hit shots for a bucket load of saves.
Yeah.
They also do mortal bombs. So the Hawks move 14 base, and then you can use a token to move them 16, and then they can advance or fall back and move normal, whatever. All of those things will work with the bombs. If they end that move within line of sight and 8 inches of any unit, you just roll dice for every unit in the Hawk unit, 10 dice. On a 4-up, you take a mortal. So they, on average, do 15 mortal wounds to basically anything within 20 inches of them, 24 inches of them in the movement phase. A little further, because you can advance. And then they release the 120 shots into you. And that's just like a segment of the Eldar army. That's 510 points. Beyond that, it's your normal elf nonsense.
That's a lot of elf for, what did you say, 510?
510.
Oh, man, that's a lot of elf. A lot of mortal wounds. Now, I believe that they can't throw the grenade after they do that, but like it's only 15 mortals. So I guess after that, they just have to shoot you or throw a grenade with someone else.
They only get 30 dice on 4-ups. You take mortals, not 36.
Honestly, I don't even know what the point is of that.
It's okay because your Corsairs have the grenade keyword,
Ow!
so they'll still find a way to throw that grenade.
Oh, man. Very cool list. Of course, Liam VSL has a reputation well earned as one of the best players in the world and very innovative when it comes to his Eldar list. And yet, a couple of countries I noticed took a very similar archetype to this. Genuinely, I think there were 2 lists that were identical in everything except whether or not they took a fire pike or an Exarch fusion gun on the Fire Dragon squad, which is an insane thing to split hairs on. But, that does suggest a little bit of collaboration between some WTC teams. But it's not uncommon for people to find practice partners or just, people to work with and talk with ahead of WTC because this is the biggest event of the year.
Well, one of the things I absolutely love about Liam as a player is not only is he super talented and thinks about the game in a unique way, comes up with these really cool, innovative armies, but he is also like such an open book with information. He shares it all with everybody. He just wants to help people get better. We love that. And I think a lot of countries that have the benefit of maybe being geographically near Belgium or, talking to Liam in those social circles, he just, here's my list, guys, this is really good. And then they're like, man, this is pretty darn good, isn't it?
Honestly, I think I didn't, but I think there's a 60% chance that if I had reached out to Liam on July 1st and just said, hey, what's your WTC list?
I'm going to just send it to you.
Because I think there's a 60% chance he would have just sent it to me, and I'm not even sure if he would have asked for mine.
I think we're going to have to try that next year.
Honestly, I probably will try that next year. I'm very curious.
So this list has a deceptive amount of damage because Hawks kill basically any target in mass with all those bombs.
Yeah.
Like that's a tank just gone, and then that's the guys getting inside the tank getting shot 120 times. It can bring down a knight, like a big knight has 26 wounds. 15 go out right off the bat from the movement phase. Then we shoot you with 10 dragons and fugue, and then we shoot you with 120 lethal hit 5 shots. There's also Dark Reapers. There's also Jay-Z and Banshees. There's also Warp Spiders. This is a very, very potent, strong list, and it gets better the better you are at the game because so much of it is movement based.
Yeah, I think I know Liam took Eldar last year. I expect that Liam is going to do even better this year than last year if I had to bet a little money.
Yeah. He share, he roosh, he damage. Liam
Roosh. All right. So I think that was the last list that we were going to cover today. Of course, it was hard to pick. There were a lot of good lists to talk about here.
There's lots of lists. There's all the France 80 Berserker list.
That one's fun. Really good. Of course, there's plenty of Chaos Knight lists. Both, honestly, a lot of the top teams are taking Chaos Knights, brand new codex. I'm obviously excited about that.
I couldn't decide between which version of Six Knights we should talk about, so I just left them off.
Oh, come on. There were so many. There's so many.
Canis and 3 attributes with 4 Helverins. Oh, I read that list to you. You're welcome.
That was...
Fast.
Chaos Knights are more interesting than Imperial Knights.
I'm sorry.
They are.
There's also, what's interesting for me in teams is there's a resurgence in Awoken Dynasty with max warrior herds. I'm seeing a lot of that from top teams as maybe a night counter or just a general point score. I love WTC, man. I'm so excited.
I do too. You know what? Yeah. There was even 40 teams taking Death Guard. And we're all proud of how brave those players are.
Attendance?
There are 42.
Oh, wow.
There are 42.
2 brave souls out there.
Two of the Tier 4 nations did not bring Death Guard, and I salute them and thank them for their contributions, because, God, I don't want to play against Death Guard ever again in my life.
Oh, don't worry, John. We're lining you up. You're going in. Let's answer some super chats. Our super fans. We love you all.
All right. Thank you so much for your support, everyone. First up is a super chat from Zinth. Team USA is bringing the Year of Chaos to the rest of the world. Who else is mad enough to cram all 7 armies of a super faction into 5 players?
Dude, I'm so happy about this.
Honestly, there's a certain point where we're we're taking everything but demons. We got to find someone to shove a Nurglings.
Here's some Nurglings.
Come on, take some Nurglings.
Don't you worry. It kind of breaks my heart that we're bringing 5 Chaos armies and 7 Chaos factions, and I'm not playing any of them.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
This is your choice.
Oh.
You're the one who chose the elves. Oh. We could have switched it. You and Folger just could have traded.
We talked about that.
You know what? Honestly, the lister submitted, we might be able to change the names of BCB.
Dude, I can play a Cursed Cultist.
You could play Cursed Cultist. Folger can play Eldar. It could happen.
Easy.
Every single Chaos Army. And I think we're the only team to do so because, some of the factions like World Leaders and Emperor's Children are not seen terribly often. But we are really leaning into the chaos of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so here for that.
Absolutely. Next up is a super chat from Red Rum. Do you think that if the WTC keeps growing in teams, it will need a qualifying system to have a smaller number that is manageable? I don't think so. As much as I love that the WTC is growing and is getting larger, I would really like to see the WTC stay what it is, which is the best part about the WTC. It's not just that it's the best players in the world coming together. It's the best players from all over.
Yeah.
And I would hate to ever deny a country access to it. Right? Like
Absolutely not.
I would like to get as many teams as possible involved in the WC, get people from all over the world. That's the wonderful part about it.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like, because each team counts as an individual person for the purposes of tournament structure, you could have 500 countries show up. I don't even know how many countries there are in the world.
Less than 500, I think.
Probably. So you could have that many countries show up, and it wouldn't be that cumbersome of a tournament in terms of number of rounds. It would be a ton of people, but we can solve those logistics.
Yeah. All right. Hivesbane has been a member for 35 months of the Worm Gold. Thank you so much, Hivesbane. One more month to go until 3 years. Always a good Thursday show while I'm at work. Thanks for the content, gentlemen. And good luck to any of you playing at the WTC. Hopefully, Team USA can reclaim its throne.
I hope so. It's about darn time.
It's about darn time. Nick and I have both been, we've been working for it. We've been waiting for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's been 7 years since Team USA stood on top of the WTC.
I want another little WTC trophy on the mantle so I can retire in peace.
One more retirement for good
One more
measure.
retirement. We can do it again.
The third time will stick, we think. Absolutely. I very much would like one of my own. It'd be my first. I know Nick's already got two. But I could use them. I could use one.
I think it's about time.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the support, Hivesbane. We're glad that we can keep doing this for you. And your support means everything to us. Thank you, Manuel. Welcome to the Warrior in Bronze. We've got another super chat for Red Rum. I see no vanilla Space Marines for Team USA. What's the reason for that, since they seem very strong in the right hands? Also, what does it take to play Space Marines very well, since their win rate is always very low? Thank you so much for the support, Red Rum. So part of the main reason that we didn't take like something like Ultramarines, which would be the obvious vanilla Space Marine to take, it's less about do I believe that it's strong enough, and it's more about how does it fit in with the team. Where I genuinely would have loved to take Ultramarines, I would have taken Stormlance, would have brought the Stormraven. I believe that list was up to the task of coming to WTC for us. But we always kind of look at the whole, and I was playing both my Ultramarines and my Emperor's Children at a level that I thought I could bring to WTC. Yeah. So I have to choose one of those, but then we look around the rest of the team. And so the reason they got left off is because we have, Alex Spatho, a great Space Marine pilot, who prefers those more pressure-oriented builds.
Yeah.
And so we wanted him on Space Wolves because we thought that was the best army to take for that play style. And I had another option that I really didn't mind playing.
It's a complicated process figuring out what your team composition is, because not only are you trying to guess the meta, not know the meta retrospectively, you're also trying to align it with what your players are actually good at playing.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's sad that Marnius Calgar is not going to be slamming hands into Europeans this summer, but maybe in November I'll be able to do that. With any luck. As to what it takes to play Space Marines well, I find that Space Marines are all about positioning. The best thing you can do with Space Marines is get your units where they need to go. And that's relatively hard in Warhammer. That's why I favor the more mobile detachments over the harder hitting ones. I think what's actually most important with Space Marines is activating your units as many times as possible, not how hard those activations hit. I don't need one amazing shooting phase. I need 2 or 3 pretty good ones.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference.
Right. And there's a bunch of Space Marine videos in the Worm right now that John has gone into those topics in detail. So if you're interested, check it out, theworm.vhx.tv for free in the description below.
Indeed. All right. Welcome to the Worm Bronze Zinth. Oh, we've got a super chat from Sam Pope. $2 just to send an airplane emoji. I believe that means that Sam is on his way. As a matter of fact, Sam might be getting off his plane any moment now. He's probably watching on the plane.
Maybe he sent it from the plane. He sent the plane.
I think he sent the plane from the plane.
Yeah. That's a Sam move.
That would be a Sam move. Yeah. We've got a couple members of Team USA coming on down to sunny Florida this weekend so that we can hang out, maybe play a little Warhammer, maybe read some lists on VCP.
Maybe we'll even stream some of these Team USA members so you can see them in the future on the Art of War channel.
That'd be crazy. All right, next up, Lawrence King. Welcome to the War in Bronze. We really appreciate your support. And then we have one final super chat from Nick.
I didn't super chat us, but I appreciate that I get the credit for it. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. And Nick asks, what do you think of Wolves post-Iron Priest nerf? I do think that the nerf to Iron Priest is a little bit unfortunate. I'm surprised they did it so fast. I think he was a little too cheap for what he did, but they instead made him not do what he did, and then I don't care anymore.
I think Predators should not shoot that much. I think that's fine.
Definitely would agree that for the cost, they shot too much.
Yeah.
I think that Space Wolves will actually still be fine. I think they can still be a good pressure build. If you took a look at a list like Jesper's, you could say, oh, the Predators don't shoot as hard. But honestly, if you just cut the 2 Iron Priests and put in a 3rd Predator,
It's kind of the same.
you're getting to a pretty close place. You're more durable on the tanks. As soon as you lose a tank, you shoot harder than before. You don't shoot quite as hard as you could on the first turn, but now your tanks get to shoot from 48 instead of 24. And so you still get really good output out of them. I don't believe that this sinks Space Wolves at all. I know that Space Wolves are currently being seen as one of the best Space Marine chapters to take. I genuinely believe that they still have a lot of power. Yes, this one aspect has been nerfed, but I do believe that they're going to do really well.
Awesome. Well, I believe that's the last super chat. Thank you all for watching, hanging out with us, and sharing in the hype and excitement. We are so pumped for WTC.
We are indeed.
We're pumped for this practice week, and that's unfolding right in the background.
Right over there,
us. Yeah. And that's it, folks. We're gonna get to playing some Warhammer, streaming some Warhammer, and sharing that with you.
Thank you. I actually have a question for you, Nick.
What's that?
One thing before we log off and say goodbye to our fair viewers. Would you do me the honor of picking the podium right now?
Picking the podium. Well, USA. That's numero uno.
Okay, obviously.
I think France and Germany are gonna duke it out for 2nd and 3rd. And Poland and England are gonna be that 4 or 5 slot. Maybe honestly, let me retract that. England's in a little bit of a rebuild year. I think they were gonna struggle a little bit with some stuff. Sweden is an up-and-comer that no one's talking about. It's easy to sleep on, but let me tell you, Sweden's got their stuff. So I think in top 5 order, it'll be USA. I'm going to go Germany, then France to spice it up even more. Then we'll go Sweden, Poland.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom.
I like the pick. I like that we did a top 5 instead of a top 3. I think the only thing I'm going to disagree with you on is that I'm going to bet on the Swedes.
You're going to bet on Sweden?
I'm going to bet on it. Obviously, my pick to win it is that I'm really hoping it's Team USA.
It is. It
But if I had to pick a top 3, not inclusive of Team USA, wherever we end in this, my pick in order would be Germany, Sweden, France.
Yeah.
That'd be my pick.
I think all these teams that we just mentioned have really brought their A game this year.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, there's a lot of teams that you can't cut out. Poland, every time we bet against them, they beat us. So, we do have to be
Here I am putting Poland in 5th.
we do have to be a little bit respectful of that one. So to our friends in Poland, don't worry. We are not overlooking you. And you know what? I would even be willing to bet that there could be an up-and-comer team that the wider Warhammer audience wouldn't expect, sneaking up maybe even into the top 5.
I hear a lot of things about China.
China, Thailand.
I
think both of those teams are going to outperform initial expectations from the rest of the world. Now, they might not outperform their own expectations. They might be coming in a little more confident than the rest of the world has faith in them. But you know what? I think they're going to do quite well. So China and Thailand are my two upset picks. If someone not expected is going to crack that top 8, top 5, top 10, like into that tier 1 nation kind of bracket, I would bet on China or Thailand being the teams to do so.
Let us know what you think about the different armies in the WTC. You can find out on Best Coast Pairings. Follow the event there, along with all the different streaming platforms. And let us know who you think is going to take the whole thing down. Who's your podium picks?
Indeed. All right. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We will see you all next time. Bye-bye.